you guys who don't know, we have Jamie on. She's been our guest many times, and she is very active now in our Empowered Vegan Life group, posting some phenomenal posts that are inspirational, motivational. They're fantastic. So thank you for contributing in that way, Jamie. Jamie's also a Plant Empowered Program graduate and a mentor now within the program. And you're also an environmental educator. Is there anything else that we can say about you for your introduction, Jamie?
Oh my God. Well, I feel like you've said so much. I also own my own business where I make all natural soaps and house cleaners. And it's called E. Huxley Apothecary. And I'm very proud of it. So I do a lot of really fun things in my life. I'm very proud of my life.
Excellent. We've got Diane and Kelly. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So great to have you. We are talking about how to stop playing small and start kicking ass in your life today. And this is such a huge topic. Jamie and I were discussing just the other day, what would be, or last week, what would be the best topic for us? And we've both been doing a lot of what I would call next level work, right? So in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program, you do a lot of work. Do you not, Jamie?
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, that's huge foundational work that you do in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program.
Yes, so it sets you up. I mean, you do all this work on the self-exploration, learning. Basically, we coach you to coach yourself so that you can be empowered and move on with your life following the 6 months. What we always say is it's not about the 6 months. It's about using the 6 months to set you up for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And we've had so many people get so much out of it and feel so empowered by the end that they're like, I don't want to stop here. I want to keep going. I want to keep learning. If I've learned all of this and I feel this freaking good, imagine what else I can learn and where I can get to at that point. It's like I can be unstoppable. That's how you feel when you start to master these tools and feel that empowerment. So our next level program is called Game Changers, and that's a brand new program. Everyone has to go through the foundational work that we do in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program in order to get into Game Changers. It's invite only. So we're doing that work, and we're studying like quantum physics and neuroscience and epigenetics, and it's bringing up a bunch of stuff for us.
Oh my God, yes.
So we said, you know what? And it's powerful. It's almost scary in a way, and it's so exciting. Is how I would describe it. How would you describe it, Jamie?
I mean, I feel like those words are really great. I think it is scary as hell, and it brings up a lot of my stuff. Like, wow, what I thought was next level in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program, now it takes on a whole new meaning in the Game Changers, and it is like a roller coaster. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yes, and just for those of you who don't know, I mean, this is an Empowered Vegan Life site. So I always forget to mention that we absolutely, in the program, go through the process of helping you transition if you're not already vegan, just make that transition. But the food part is so much, it's the easy part. I mean, it's by far the easiest part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I tend to not focus on it because it's when you get your shit together. I mean, when you get your in alignment and in balance, and you start to align your actions with your true values, and you have the power to do that because of the tools you're learning, the food choices, they kind of just come.
They do. And if I can just say also, for me, I did not become vegan until after I finished the Plant Empowered Coaching Program. So I went through 6 months of this program and doing all of the emotional work that's really intense. And I did change my diet little by little to incorporate healthier options, and I started to be more mindful about how I ate. But I did not switch over to being a vegan until after I finished the program. So if that kind of puts it into context.
Thank you for saying that, because oftentimes the first response when people are thinking about that transition is, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I don't know if I could go all the way and be totally vegan. And what I always say is, you don't have to know.
No.
You don't have to know. And that's not what this is about. This is about figuring out the way of eating that, you know, is good for your soul as well as healthy for your body. So that part is going to be up to you. And we take you through plant-based nutrition. Everything, you know, that we learn has to do with how to best make this transition and make it in the healthiest, happiest, most satisfying way possible. But like I said, that's, like Jamie just said as well, that's the easy part. So when we're focused so much on the mental and emotional aspects of that, it's for a reason. Most programs get it backwards when we're talking about setting yourself up for the rest of your life and having something that's sustainable for you. It's backwards if you do it the other way. So we're doing it the way that everyone else thinks is backwards, but it's working.
Yeah.
It's working for life. So that all being said, this last weekend, Stephanie, our head coach, Stephanie, she had texted me, and whenever she recommends I watch something, it's like, I better watch that. Like, she doesn't, she doesn't just throw things at me that aren't worth watching. And she said, Ellie, you got to watch the Brene Brown special on Netflix. And Ronnie's watching. Hi, Ronnie. That's my stepmom. Julie Gray. Hi, Julie. So I watched, of course. And wow, you guys. Jamie, you saw it, right?
Oh my gosh, I did. Emotions.
It blew me away.
Laughing, crying. It blew me away too. Yeah.
Yes. So it's one I definitely recommend to all of you guys. It's by far worth watching. And I forgot the exact name of it, but basically the theme.
Daring Greatly, I think it was.
Daring Greatly, thank you. And the theme of that is choosing courage over comfort. And I think that's sort of the theme here of what we're talking about when we're talking about stopping playing small, starting to play big, and being able to kick ass in your life. And it's waking up every day and saying, I'm going to choose courage today over comfort. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Mm. Jamie, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means digging pretty deep. So, you know, the way that I can look at it, and I actually had a conversation with Stephanie this morning about it because I was going through so much emotion about it, is everything on my outside life, everything, people would say I have a wonderful life. I have an amazing life. I have great jobs. I have great family. I have a beautiful child who's wonderful. I've got everything that I could possibly want on the outside, but I'm still working on the inside. And the courage to actually go deeper than just what's on the surface. So I could very easily be very satisfied with everything and just say, this is my life, and I'm playing by the rules, and I'm still doing phenomenally. Or I could say, my old habits and the way that I think aren't good enough anymore, and I'm ready to change, and I'm ready to move forward, and I'm ready to feel differently. So my idea is I want all the stuff that's on the outside to align with all of the stuff that's on the inside. And so that's what I'm working on. So when I think of daring greatly or going through courage, it's not stopping where I am. It's moving forward and thinking bigger and really delving deep into myself, into my soul, into things that maybe I didn't want to deal with. Like, you know, thoughts that I didn't want to deal with, and where do they come from, and how can I heal them? What about you? What does it mean for you? Because for me, that's, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to talk about kind of what allows us to be courageous. What does that really mean? And for me, number one is getting vulnerable. Martha just said I watched it 4 times in a row.
Yeah, I'm planning on watching
Carmen it today. Yeah. Yes. I was like, I'm telling everybody, you gotta watch this, watch this. Carmen Sierra, hi Carmen, and Deb. So vulnerability, I think, is one huge piece. And of course, you know, Brene Brown's, all her work is on shame and vulnerability, and she makes some really funny, humorous jokes about that throughout the special as well. But one thing that really stuck with me was she said, you know, you have to be willing to get vulnerable. That's part of being courageous. And she said, here's why. When you're vulnerable, that involves uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Those are the components of vulnerability. Yeah. And then she said, think of one example of courage that does not involve uncertainty, risk, or emotional exposure. Mm-hmm. And the audience was dead silent.
Yeah.
And I'm racking my brain.
It
doesn't.
No. And that's not playing in the arena, like she always says. She's like, if you're not playing in the arena with me and getting dirty and mucky and sweaty, then I don't want to hear what you have to say. So come play in the arena with me and let's go through it together and be vulnerable. And I completely agree. I think it's very important. I don't think anybody disagrees with Brene Brown at this point, though, in our
No, I don't think so either.
No.
Yes. Well, one thing that hit me, the risk part.
Yeah.
Risk. Whew. Because risk brings up what? Fear.
So much.
And we have to take risks. And how do we allow ourselves to do that? And for me, that's a belief system that I had to develop for myself, saying everything is going to be okay.
Always.
Not that it's just going to be okay. Everything is going to align for me if I follow my values, if I keep my actions in alignment with what my purpose is, what I care about, what I want to look back on when I'm on my deathbed and say, I was courageous, I did this, I took this risk, and here's what it did for me. And there will be ups and downs, and knowing that's not a straight line. Mm-hmm. That's a roller coaster. It's the roller coaster we're on, Jamie.
Oh my gosh. And we're deep in it right now. Stephanie put it well. She said, we're in the trenches right now, and that's okay. And, you know, we have to be able to not let yesterday's issues take and get in the way of today's possibilities and opportunities. And I think that's part of, you know, yes, you have to deal with those issues. You have to make sure that you go through them. But you have to take that risk today. You have to take that risk tomorrow, because then you're just going to stay in those issues from yesterday. And instead of just sitting around in the muck, like, okay, take steps. And it is hard, and it is risky, and it's scary as hell. But whatever that looks like to you that's taking steps into the direction of getting into that vulnerability and making yourself the person that you want to be.
Yes, and that reminds me of, you know, the saying, if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Yes. Well, that goes for what you're not doing as well, you know, and what you're not getting. So that lack of doing or taking different action is setting us up to stay completely stuck. And we're so wired. You guys, from the time we were kids, we start to wire our brains, and Dr. Joe Dispenza says that by the time you're 35, you're pretty much wired. Like your body has basically taken on your brain, because your body has learned what your wiring is, and now it's unconscious or subconscious. You're going through the motion.
Yes.
It's on autopilot. Yes. And we'll keep doing that for the rest of our lives until we take that pause, and until we start to become the observer and say, hey, you know what? I have to take responsibility for my life. I have to take responsibility for where I'm going, and I have to make changes. And it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to be scary, and it's going to be risky, and it's going to involve uncertainty, and I'm going to have failures and setbacks. But to remember that there is no failure, there is only feedback, because we cannot succeed if we don't fail, because we cannot learn if we don't fail. And so failure is a necessity.
It's key. It totally is. Key. There's no growth. You can't grow from up here. You have to grow from the ground, right? So, I mean, no seed grows from the air. You have to be planted. So, yeah, I mean, and it's very important to get to that core of things. And this work that we're doing with Dr. Joe Dispenza, it is definitely taking me back to the emotions that I think I never dealt with because I was on autopilot. So it's like I tried to just continue, to just push forward and move and groove is what I always say to my son all the time. I'm like, okay, we're moving and grooving. We're not sitting around, we're not doing it. But once I started doing this work with Joe Dispenza and really taking it in, it's like, wait a second, I never dealt with this. And now it's just going to come up over and over and over again in my life until I learn the lesson. And a very good friend of mine actually posted something that I want to mention here because I feel like it's so relevant. She said, if you pray to the universe or to God or to whoever your belief is in, and you ask for patience, you're not going to get patience. You're going to get an opportunity to practice patience. So this work is bringing those opportunities big time. And I think that is courage. That is a big key in courage, is taking on these things that maybe we overlooked, maybe we never learned the lesson the first time, or maybe we forgot what that lesson is and we've just sort of moved past it in our life, and really delving into it and taking the opportunity to learn what we need to learn from that particular thing. So yeah, it's incredible work, and it's definitely the toughest work I've ever done for myself, and I guarantee you it's going to be the most rewarding too when it's all said and done. Right now it doesn't feel like it, but when it's all said and done, it will be great.
Right. It's so interesting, Jamie, because when you finished, first of all, speaking of risk, I would just like to bring it up. First of all, vocabulary shifts are one really important thing that we go through in the Plant and Power Coaching Program, because our language is so important, right? That's how we communicate. That's how we communicate with ourselves.
Yeah.
So when we're saying things like, well, we'll use this example, I can't afford it. As long as you say, I can't afford it, you will never be able to afford it.
Yes.
And is that the plane you want to live on? Do you want to live for the rest of your life from a place of scarcity? Or do you want to set yourself up for abundance? You know, that's a huge shift to make. And you guys, I was potty trained in an outhouse. I did not grow up with any money. We didn't have a freaking toilet. And that's a true story. You know, and I went through much of my life thinking that there was a ceiling for me, and that I could never get to be, you know, making that money. No, I had to give that up. I had to give that up, and I had to take a risk, and my risk was hiring a coach. And that risk changed my life forever. And I had to do it, and my credit cards were maxed out. And this coach said, here's what it is. And it was thousands of dollars. I'm like, I can't do that. Oh my God, I can't do that. You know, all that. Oh man, you know, I just felt defeated right away. I remember that moment, and I felt defeated. And then I said, you know what, Ella, if you don't do this now, then what? I'm gonna stay on the same path. I have a choice right here, right now. I can stay going on this same path, and it's not taking me where I want to go. Or I can take this risk and be courageous and do something different, because it felt right. You know, I felt it, and I just had this intuition that it was the right thing to do. And I put my fears aside and did it, and it changed my life forever. And so the reason I brought that up also is because that's basically what you did as well, Jamie, last summer.
Exactly. Oh, 100%. I'm a single mom. I'm still a single mom. That hasn't changed. But oh my gosh, did I go back and forth with it? And I was terrified, because I was like, I have no other income but my own, and I'm supporting a child, and do I really need to make this expenditure? And it kept going. I kept saying, I don't have the money. I can't do it. But again, just like you said, something inside of me, it was just so strong that I had to say yes. And I second guessed it. I mean, even 2 weeks in, I was like, what am I doing? This is incredibly insane. I am not going to do this. No way. I even took a step back for a moment, and then I didn't anymore. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because I don't even know how to tell you how grateful I am for all that I've learned about myself, about that I'm not alone, and that I can be anything now. And I am so much more capable of dealing with everything that comes at me in life than I ever was before. So I'm grateful. And another language that I've learned actually through the Plant and Power Coaching Program is I was an I'm sorry person. That's all I ever said. I said I'm sorry to everything when it wasn't something I did. Like, oh, I'm sorry you stubbed your toe. You know, silly, I'm sorry. And instead, what I'm learning to say is, you know, thank you for doing that, or how can I help you fix that, or not fix it, but how can I help you? How can I help you? What can I do? Instead of constantly, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. And that has changed my world. You know, I no longer tell my boss, I'm sorry I didn't get something done. I'm saying, well, thank you for reminding me to get that done. I appreciate that so much. And it's empowering. Like, it's one of those things where I am not small anymore. I am definitely not small anymore. No, I am taking my power and I'm saying, I appreciate you so much for saying that. Thank you. So I think that's another really great language shift.
Yes, yes, all of this owning your power, because you have to believe that you get to write your own story. That's first off. If you do not believe you have the power to do that, then all bets are off.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? You're giving it away. You're going to be a watcher in your life. You're going to just ride the wave, and it's going to take you where it takes you. And it's probably not going to be very far because you don't believe you can get there. Of course, if you don't believe you can get there, you're not going to get there, right? So first of all, you have to believe that you can write your own story, that's in your power. And then the other language shift that has been so life-changing for me is saying I choose to, or I have to. Never saying I have to again, and never saying I'm too busy again. None of that even makes any sense. I don't have to take my dog outside. If I don't take her out, is she gonna shit on the carpet? Probably, right? That's the consequence. But I don't have to do anything. I don't have to take her outside. I'm choosing to take her outside. That's my responsibility. That's something that I have the power over. And as soon as we take that out, and if you guys do this, I challenge you to take that out of your vocabulary. It's incredible what that little change, either I choose to, or I'm going to, or I get to, or I have the privilege of, you know, any of those things where it takes you to a place of gratitude that I have legs to take my dog outside.
Yes.
You know, not everybody has legs to take their dog outside. To turn that around, all of a sudden, it's like, whoo, I get to take my dog outside.
It's exciting.
You know?
Yeah, it really
that's a silly little example, but.
No, it's not. It's not at all a silly example. And all of these things, these language shifts, these small language shifts, these different things that we do in the Planting Power coaching program, you know, it helps us to be more mindful. So it helps you to think twice instead of just autopiloting through your life and saying, I'm going to do the same things I always do. It helps you to stop and go, wait a second. Nope, I don't have to. No, I choose to. I get to do this. So every little thing that can make you more mindful essentially makes you more grateful in every way. And when we can live in grateful all the time, and I feel like Brene Brown really, really hones in on this, if you can live in grateful all the time, you are living your best life. And that is what we really try to do in the Planting Power coaching program, is just everybody live in grateful, you know, and we can be all there with you if you live in grateful. Doesn't mean you always have to be happy. It just means you always have to be grateful. Yeah.
Yes. And one spin we take on that in the program is what we call gratitude ahead of time. So it's basically being thankful for things that haven't even happened yet. Why? Because that's putting you in alignment. That is putting you on the path to getting to that place where you get to be grateful. So when we're saying I'm grateful for, and we kind of say it sometimes, oh, thanks for inviting me to dinner, or thanks for dinner coming up. You know, it's not there yet. So it's not like totally wacky out there, but I'm grateful for the abundance of wealth I have in my life, right? Saying that before I have an abundance of wealth. You start to align that, and you start to have your brain get in this, wire your brain so that you are in abundance.
Yes.
It's a cause and effect that's the opposite of what we're used to, right? We're used to saying, you know, I got to get to abundance, and then I'll be able to say, oh, I'm so glad I'm in abundance. It doesn't work like that. We have to get to a place of abundance here to get to a place of abundance in our environment. We get to dictate our environment. And that's kind of the next level stuff we're learning. And it's there's science. You know, we talk about the law of attraction, and the coolest part about it is that there's science to back that up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're learning in the next level. But what we need to know is that there's proof that the law of attraction, and we need to live by that energy. It's all about energy.
All about energy. And you know,
all about it.
Another thing I learned, and I think Tony Robbins really talks about this a lot, who I am completely infatuated with, by the way, on the down low. Not that all Facebook isn't watching, but he talks a lot about being grateful for the things that you have, but also being grateful for the things that you don't have in your life. Because it's good that not everything is in your life, and it's good that that it hasn't worked out necessarily the way that you had originally anticipated. So for me, and I'll go into a little bit of personal depth here, I was engaged to the man who I had my son with, and I was in love with him, over the moon in love with him. We were like over the moon in love with each other, and I think we both thought that it was going to work out, and it just didn't. For whatever reason, we weren't really compatible, is what we found out. We were just more into each other, but we weren't as compatible as we had hoped, and it didn't work out. And, you know, I was sad for a very long time, and longed for him for a very long time. But the more I went through this program, the more I started saying, I'm grateful that I'm not there. I'm grateful that I'm not in that. I learned so much, and I'm so happy that I had that. And I'm so grateful that we had that together, because my son was born of love, of beyond love. And I'm so grateful it's gone now, like at the same time. So I am good. I'm good with all of it. And I love him for what he brought to my life. And he loves me for what I brought to his life. And I think that is so big. And it was a very big hill to get over. But be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you don't have, because there's a reason it's not in your life anymore.
Yes. So powerful. So amazing. And I want to relate this back to food and fitness for a moment, because all of this stuff can be related to food and fitness. A lot of people joined our Empowered Vegan Life group because they're struggling with food, right? Either it's disordered eating, it's you don't know when to stop, you eat when you're emotional, and you're hungry when you're tired, and you're stressed out, and you turn to food, and now I need to lose, 20 pounds, whatever it is. And that's like on the forefront of so many people's brains, right? And that's the people that we work with. That was on the forefront of my brain for over a decade. And most people, that's kind of consuming their lives. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about doing this work, where we're learning to step into our power, and we have to learn to be vulnerable, and in order to start to love ourselves unconditionally. And I think we place so many, we are the hardest on ourselves. We talk to ourselves. Jamie's a prime example of that, but we talk to ourselves in ways that we would never dream of talking to another human being. Right? And how this relates is because when we stop doing that, when we step into our worth and our love for ourselves, then all of a sudden we get to eat foods that make us feel good, because we deserve to feel good. We are worth feeling good. We are worth having a healthy body. We are worth having energy and move through our day. And so when you come from that place, it's no longer about willpower. Mm-hmm. And same with fitness, I don't have to go work out, and I'm not going to work out to go burn off the calories to punish myself for what I ate the day before. Mm-mm. I'm working out because I get to. I'm working out because I love me. Yeah. And I love my body, and I respect my body, and I want it to be strong and healthy and fit for a lifetime. That's why I'm going to work out. And when you're working out for that purpose, again, not about willpower. No. It's about loving yourself and setting yourself up. Yeah. No,
I'm listening. I'm sorry. I was going to say it makes it become like you can't go a day without it, because you're so passionate about it now because of that.
Yes. And it's never going to be like that when it's about punishment.
No. God, it wasn't for years for me. It didn't work. Punishment didn't work. It had to be because I love myself. And I mention it often in the Empowered Vegan Life Facebook group, when I give my posts, I'm constantly writing, "You are worth it," because it's not. I don't say things because I think you need to know this information. Rah, 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 rah. It's because I just want to scream it from the rooftops. You are all worth it. You are all worth being able to feel good every day, to look at yourself in the mirror and love what you see and love what's inside of you and be proud of that. And so I constantly will say in my posts, you are worth it, because you are. You are worth it. We are worth it.
Yes, you are not blowing smoke up asses. You are so, the stuff that you're talking about is stuff that you've worked the last 6 months. I mean, you've worked longer on that, but really worked the last 6,
I'm a
8
year,
months.
so yeah, the 6 months, but then now with the Game Changers, I'm a year in this month.
Okay.
I'm a year in this month. So I've been working with doing this work for a year, and yeah, it is. Everybody's worth it, and I wish everybody would do it, because I got to say, if the whole world did this program, we would be nicer people and we would be happier people. Just because we know how to interact differently, because we can get in touch with who we are differently.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, we've got Johnny Rockching. Johnny came on. Hi, Johnny. Johnny is the owner of Sobe Kick Gym here in South Beach, and he came on right when we started talking about fitness. Good time, Johnny. Because I go to that gym like every day because it's my family. You know, that's
yeah. You've mentioned them a lot. You love them. I know.
I love them. I love them, and my dog loves them. She gets to come hang out. My little Chihuahua, just on a side note, she's 11 pounds and she rules that gym. Okay. And there'll be 30, you know, we got over 30 bags and music blasting, people like punching the bags and all that. And she kind of she'll walk right through the middle.
Oh, she is a badass.
Oh, she is a badass. That is our theme.
She's the daughter of a badass. She's a badass.
Yes. Everybody in the freaking program's a badass. All of you are badasses. We just got to bring that badass out of you, right?
It's true. It's true. We want to tap into that. We want to make sure everybody feels like we feel.
Okay. Oh gosh. We could just yap away forever. I actually have a call I have to do since we were on late. Oh, Jamie.
It's okay.
You'll come back, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Calm down. We're good.
Calm down. I'm not high strung. What are you talking about? I'm working on that. No, I'm honestly, my state of being, as Dr. Joe likes to say, has morphed a whole lot, even in the last few months.
Yeah.
I have to say, and it's remarkable. The anxiety I've been able to release is remarkable after just a few months of this work.
So. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, so we're gonna have you back on, Jamie. I think maybe next week, actually. I think we scheduled it already.
Yeah, it might be 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. But you guys, please comment in the Facebook group if there's anything in particular that resonated with you about what we're talking about. We'll be able to dive deeper into it next time. If you have any specifics that you want us to cover, or any specific kind of struggles that you're having that we could use when we're planning out our next Facebook Live together. And then there's the other thing, you know, we've got a few spaces open right now in the Plant Empowered Coaching Program. And this is a perfect opportunity for you guys. If this is resonating with you, don't wait. Why wait? What is there to wait for? There is never going to be a right time. There's never going to be a comfortable time. We just talked about that. It's never going to be a convenient time. There's never going to be I'll wait till I make $1 million time. No, this is about taking action now. I am doing these breakthrough calls myself right now. That will not last forever. So I will put the link in the notes in the comments. If you are ready to make some huge changes in your life, and I'm talking changes for the rest of your life, now's the time. Book a call with me and we will talk about it. We will talk about your struggles. We'll talk about what your needs are. You know, if this program if I'm completely confident this is the right program for you, that you're ready for this program, that you're ready to come in and do the work and be successful, then I will invite you in and we'll talk all about that. If not, if it's not the right time, it's not the right time, and I'll let you know. So it's a no-lose situation. It's a win-win no matter what. So you guys, book your call. Roxanne, you just came on. I'm going to put the links to more information about the program in the comments as well. So I'll have all that for you in the comments. And Jamie, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. I'll see you back in the group, and we'll be on next Thursday. I'll work on getting that tech figured out again.
Whatever.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye-bye.